Finished prepping the recording?
Recording just started.
Okay. So, what do you guys remember from the last session?
I was not here last session.
Sure.
Sibling
Liv,
interaction.
what do you recall?
So yeah, basically we split up into separate groups where we were each kind of doing our investigation thing. Kiritha talked with her brother, the rogue trader. Meanwhile, 01 went and dissected the corpses and investigated the food samples, finding signs of very chaotic taint. Including,
I believe they specifically found that the rot of the corpses was progressing 7.77% faster than it should be.
I wonder what Chaos got to use occult stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there was like all the bodies bloating up and strange maggots in them, and like a fish reanimating. And then he also went to the what was the name of the building?
He went to the conning tower of the landing.
Right. Yeah, and basically was investigating all the strange orbital scrap code, finding that there was 3 separate sources of it. One was coming from the refugee camps. One was coming from, I believe it was the landing pad, and one was coming from the castle. What were the other 2 locations?
One was coming from the internment camp. One was coming from the castle itself, and the other was coming from an empty space in orbit.
Gotcha.
That
Okay.
had been occupied by 3 separate ships in the past week.
Okay. And then, meanwhile, Ivan and Patience went to the camps to... Oh, no. First, Ivan and Patience went to meet the other rogue trader.
Yes, Adraxa, I believe. And Drax.
Yes. Make sure I have my notes up just so I can remember the exact set of this stuff.
That's Kiritha's player, Jane, developed her. So, yeah.
Who?
Gotcha.
And Draxa.
Oh, yeah. Well, I also developed Cyphus. They're both my rogue trader characters.
We tried to like kind of talk with her, but it didn't really go that well. She kind of we like kind of accidentally threatened her due to a failed roll. She gave a bunch of ridiculous terms and went to the Inquisitor and asked a bunch of stuff with the Inquisitor. She hasn't spoken to the Inquisitor yet.
She specifically said that if you guys want her to be on your on side, that she wants to be able to servitorize about 10% of the population of the refugees, and then sell them to the Mechanicas. And
Yep.
yeah, she also threatened you guys with an orc.
Yes, Stormer.
She threatened you with an orc.
She has an orc. She has a blood axe mercenary as her bodyguard.
Sorry. Okay, that makes sense. It's just funny.
It was incredibly humorous. Yeah.
Then later we went to the camps to preach. We got into a bit of we rose a bunch of people to join the guard, but then there was also people who were rioting. We started to escape after things started to get too hectic. There was one guy in particular who stood out who had a bunch of like open sores. So he was like, oh, okay, obviously that guy's, and he's giving orders. Obviously that guy's suspicious. Ivan killed that guy.
Got him dead.
Yeah. He tanked a bunch of las gun shots that would definitely not be normal. We talked to a commissar, mentioned that stuff, and then also the commissar mentioned there's like a mysterious preacher who had been named the Old Man, who was like came at night to look over the sick and wounded and took escapees out to the forest. And then also mentioned salvation will come from the sky and truth will be found from the depths of winter, which, that's suspicious.
Yeah. It also is relevant that the specifically, I think it was Ivan who read the note. So basically Ivan was given this specific note that the Inquisitor had recovered from the body of one of the heretics.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I wasn't there.
Yeah, and he found that, and she made him read it out in front of her because she wasn't able to touch it or read it because it was obviously heavily imbued with warp energy. And he read out the specific religion of the definitely non-existent planet of Striga Secundus. So that is what happened last session. And so this session, we'll start off sort of where we left. Do we want to start off with who wants to start off? Oh, hey, 01.
I don't have anything in particular.
All right,
You think would be unfit too, so.
I know we were going to meet the Inquisitor, but I didn't know if there was like any. I since she was coming from the other side of the planet, I figured there would probably be some time interlap between that. So.
Sure, yeah, no, it would be at least a day and a half. It's probably a day and a half is passed. And why don't we start off with both 01 and Nidara, because they were both summoned by the same individual. For context, 01 and Nidara were both requested by Extant Anima. The definitely Amigos. What was that, Alex?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you have both been sort of requested by the quote-unquote Magos while the Inquisitor returns.
Okay.
How would I know that 01, you are coming from the conning tower of the landing field, but Nidara, you were requested by basically a military armsman who just sort of showed up at your quarters while you were meditating and sort of in isolation, and told you that the Archmagos Dominus has requested your presence. So how does Nidara react to this?
I would fox the Inquisitor to see if they want me to go, or to see if there's any specific goals they wanted me when I go.
She responds relatively confused. I mean, you hear the sound of a Valkyrie's engines in the background. She's clearly returning from an assignment, but she doesn't seem like she quite understands what's going on. It seems like it's sort of up to you.
Let's go then. Let's see what the stupid robo person wants.
Ha ha ha.
01, how are you sort of going to that area?
Let's see, I just got out of talking to the dude, so I would just head straight there, right?
Yeah, you would probably meet Nidara while walking there, because it's a relatively long walk. The reliquary is extremely large. It's like the size of multiple city blocks, obviously, because it holds millions of artifacts. But yeah, you'll probably meet each other halfway there.
Cool. Sorry, my character sheet didn't save, so doing a little fun stuff.
Or okay, Nidara, as you are leaving the let me just check something real quick. Nidara, as you are leaving your quarters, one of the guards looks at you very intently. You may make a senescience roll.
That is a pass.
Okay, okay. Let me
Multiple
check.
orders of magnitude. 1 minute. I need to finish buying in stuff real quick to know exactly how much. So that is plus 10, 50, like, oh god, what is it? That's 7 orders of magnitude?
Oh, okay.
Because it's
Well,
every
then
5, right? Because I rolled an 11 and I have a
yeah.
50.
Okay, yeah. So they straight up just grin at you, this guardsman, and they're dressed in the standard outfit of a household guard of House Haster. And they just grin at you and say, Mistress Vile Dancer, it's been some time since Lugbant.
Would I recognize this person or someone
This is a
older?
complete. So you remember that somebody on Lugbant accurately identified you as an Eldar, but this person is new. This person looks completely different to the cook lady that you spoke to on Lugbant. This is a man. He is like bearded. He looks like he's been a soldier his whole life. And he's looking at you like he knows every secret you have.
I would give a slight bow and say it's a pleasure to see you again. Any key wisdom you would wish to grant? The last one was
So
exceedingly helpful.
you catch your prey on Lugbant for us here. You got Evanstyre, yes?
Indeed.
Right. Well, to be frank, you remember when the Inquisitor got a little bit too overzealous a couple nights ago?
And blew the brains out. It's kind of hard to forget.
Right, they had somebody chew his fucking head off with a chainsaw. And I'm only standing here. But the Inquisition, of course I understand that it has its ways, but I do believe you caught the wrong man. The wrong man in the wrong place. Because when you catch an enemy stabbing you, you look into the enemy's eyes, not the knife. And the Inquisition, they caught the knife, not the hand wielding it.
I shall relay this information and keep it in check. Thank you. Your wisdom has been exceedingly helpful.
Yeah.
And I would give
They're
another
coming.
slight bow.
Yeah. He just says, they're coming, you know? Can you sense it? Make another senescience roll. As he says, oh, wow. Well done.
Wow.
The enemy, they seek the eye. And they have tracked it throughout decades ever since their disgrace. And if you're not fast, I've no doubt that hell will come to this world, Farseer. Just as it came to mine. And he looks really, really anguished for a moment. Take an insight test. He looks like really upset for just a short moment. Did you pass?
Insight. What actual test is insight?
Insight is that would be check. I think that would be perception.
Perception? Then yes, I pass.
You get you recognize the look on this man's face. You have seen it on the faces of your kin when your craft world was nearly destroyed, and you have seen it on the face of other Eldari as well. It's a Monkai face making that emotion, but their expression is of one whose homeworld was put to the sword. This person looks deeply distressed.
We should
What's that?
the enemy when they arrive.
I just was holding back that Monkai can lose their homes as well.
Oh yeah, no, but this is definitely like there is something alien behind this guy's eyes.
Remember, Eldar have like a lot of their mannerisms aren't necessarily. They're a lot more.
Oh yeah, super
minuscule,
emotion.
and like it's not entirely physical; it's partly psychic.
Yeah, the man bows and then he reaches towards his hip and begins to draw his las pistol.
I just bow my head back at him again.
He places the las pistol under his own jaw with barrel upwards and fires and just crumples down dead.
I would kneel down and close the person's eyes, assuming there are any eyes left.
Yeah, the eyes were open, but it looks like you passed the perception test, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In the very moment right before he pulled the trigger, it looked like he suddenly was afraid and was like a normal person again. But now he's dead.
Alrighty.
Yeah. And yeah, so you go to link up with 01, right?
Yes.
All right, 01, how are you doing after your whole little meeting at the conning tower?
My emotions have been properly regulated with hormone intake.
Very well. You have been taking your estrogen pills. Yeah. All right. So you both would sort of meet up outside of the reliquary. Would you have anything to say to each other?
Probably not.
Mm.
Just like a nod of the head, like let's go in. I've started to
Very well.
some human gestures just to get along easier.
Yeah. Does 01 give any human gestures at all?
No. It
Oh, very
will
well.
point at things if words are not understandable by abhumans and subhumans, but
Yeah, both
yeah.
of the Astartes were holding a vigil over the reliquary. Sort of cross their spears, their like chain spears, as you approach.
Oh, there are Astartes blocking it now?
These are the only two Astartes on this world, and they are specifically charged with defending the shrine of the Blessed Martyr. And they sort of cross their spears as you approach. And these are chain spears.
Nostroman style.
Yeah. Yeah, these are basically chain glaives. Do you seek entrance? Asks one of the scowling faces.
Affirmative.
Credentials.
How do I prove I'm was I given anything?
You do have I would assume you would have a hololithic copy of an Inquisitorial Rosette, all of you.
I'll show that.
I'll pass mine over to 01 as well to show them. Still in my robe.
The Astartes sort of glance at each other, and you hear some clicking in their helmets. These are the only Space Marines on this planet, only two of them. And
Real representatives.
Understood. And they both remove their spears, plant them in the earth, and allow you entry. Inside, Yeah, inside it is the same as you left it. There are relics, there are just thousands and thousands of relics and ancient objects that defy the mind, some of them. But yeah, and you are ushered by Gaius, the Archivist Secundus, towards the gigantic metal box that holds the alleged Archmagus.
Okay.
Would you guys have any sort of conversation on the way in, or you started walking in silence?
It's the Eldar Mechanicus.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm probably just contemplating, so I'm not talking.
Yeah, I've nothing to say to the. Yeah.
So you guys are just walking in really awkward silence.
I'm probably just thinking about my interaction with the entity.
Fair. Let me find that.
I am excited to learn what interesting things the Magos is doing.
Yeah. I think I just need to do the search function. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so you are brought to this gigantic block, basically. And you all, both of you, you hear Servo's whine, and there are, almost out of nowhere, hundreds of mechadendrites descending from the ceiling, all of them with, like, ocular lenses on the end.
Greetings.
Greetings, Magos.
We are familiar with all of you. The interrogator came to speak with us the previous night. They were boorish.
Yes.
You, tech priest.
Yes.
You are familiar with your emperor.
The Emperor of Mankind?
Yes, the being that you call Omnisire. You are blinkered and foolish. You, Eldar, what craft world are you from?
Why is it relevant?
It is relevant.
Why?
We wish to know.
But why is wishing to know relevant?
We are curious.
That is exceedingly unusual for a tech priest.
What? Sorry, that was out of character.
Yes, we are a tech
out of character.
priest.
I at least from my understanding, or Nidar's understanding, a tech priest would not necessarily care about the trivial information of a Xenos.
Oh yes, that is a specific. There is a reason behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think he just doesn't care and just wants to get the answer. Like, I feel like there is a reason. He's just disguising it as curiosity. Well, disguising in the loosest term.
You will tell us what craft world you are from, and your forge world. Question mark.
I originate from a research station. No, never mind.
Which research station?
62 Gallia.
Interesting. And you, Eldar, are you familiar with the fate of one of the minor craft worlds? Question mark.
It depends if it would be before or after I joined the Yanari. But possibly.
It would be likely after, as the Lord Commander did not manifest himself in the 40th millennia.
Then quite possibly.
I apologize. Humanity destroyed one of your minor craft worlds.
They have done that many times.
There were relics recovered when we intercepted messages from said craft world. The implication, bolter fire, was recorded. Zero One, you are a tech priest of Mars. You were born on 6-2 Gallia, or at least obtained your augmetics on that planet.
Yes.
Your organization, I find it blinkered irritating.
Zero One wouldn't answer because there was no question, only a statement.
Interesting.
I feel like that's a common trait between us.
You both
sometimes doesn't answer because she doesn't want to.
You both have been injured by this Imperium. Correct? / not correct? Question mark.
Depends on your
Correct.
definition of injured. In the most technical sense, yes, but most of the damage done to me and my personal people were by the Xenos Tyranids.
Indeed. You seek the eye of the crone.
Indeed.
My programming does not allow us to instantly meet your demands. However, I would suggest House Ad Castire. I would suggest assumptions, and there is this like really loud grinding noise, as if some sort of thing inside that huge metal box is like ripping itself apart. Error, error, error. Unit processing error. Everything falls silent. Would Nidara and Zero One have anything to say to each other after this, or are they just sort of watching this in like mild silence?
Nidara at this point is wondering how dumb the humans here are.
Yeah, I think Nidara's probably picked up on what this thing is.
Yeah.
Actually uninterested in this being because he's acting like he's the only mechanicus who has decided that the Emperor is not the machine god?
Yeah, definitely, and definitely a Magios. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like, he's not the only Magos.
Yeah,
I don't have... Yeah.
as you sort of go through these mental processes, you notice that all of the like weird mechadendrites that are glaring at you from certain spaces just like sort of shut off for a second and then
that
reanimate.
How long would it take for me to notice before they turn back on? But I have time to do a Psyniscience to try to
You
sense
can
the
just
eye.
It's about 1 second. Yeah. Also, 01 can do a tech use if they are looking into it.
Oh, I was
Oh.
considered looking for the eye, but I failed.
Oh shit. Yeah, you don't see anything specific that strikes you, but you do notice that all of these actions seem to be sort of happening in a vacuum almost. Oh, 01, do you pass that test? Alex?
You're muted if you don't know.
That's a 13 with... That's a 13 under 45. That's a few degrees of success on tech
Yeah,
use.
this would be for tech use, this would also be a -10. So
That's
this would be a
23.
Yeah, 23.
That's like 2 degrees of success to my 45, I think.
Very well.
Wait,
Yeah, then you
minus 10 or minus 10 to roll or minus 10 to the test?
-10 to the test, so it's a +10.
Okay.
Yeah. You would notice 01 that this thing is not number one. Its specific references to your emperor and your omnissiah, they strike you as odd. Number two is that this entity. Oh, sorry, go on.
Nothing. Just microwaves.
Oh, word. This entity seems to be operating on a different wavelength, basically. You can like if you look through the noosphere, it's not present.
Observation. Noospheric interference is originating from this chamber. Observation. Entity is currently not present within the noosphere. Observation. Entity is heretical. Conclusion.
Do you say that out loud to Nidara?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. It was blindingly obvious that that thing is not even human in the first place. Assuming you even picked up on that far. I wonder how.
Yeah. It apologized for the destruction of your of
Yeah.
of our lives. Yeah.
This is the thing of like Nidara is starting to grow. I wouldn't say friendly, but like interested in the construct.
Jeez.
Yeah, Cade.
Yeah. What is Kirtha doing right now? What is Kirtha and Rosary and Patience doing?
I don't know.
Am I even here?
Rosary, I assume you would be outside of the internment camp. Kirtha, I assume you would be probably speaking with Caiaphas again. Patience,
Yes, probably.
Yeah, Patience, I assume would be perhaps preaching to the unwashed masses.
Yeah. Although they're mostly waiting for the Inquisitor to get back because they were on their way with Ivan to talk to the Inquisitor about all the information they picked up.
Yeah.
But
actually,
in the meantime, they'll be preaching while they wait.
Yeah, actually, the inquisitorial team sort of, those of you that are like openly inquisitorial, Ivan is busy pulling security measures, but Patience, Rosary, and would Kirtha be present?
Where?
At the landing pad while the inquisitorial Valkyrie lands.
Probably. There's not much use for this facade anymore now that we've gotten the measure of.
Yeah,
Now that
the
we've-
the inquisitorial Valkyrie is landing, and like dust gets kicked up. The rotors are spinning, and the Valkyrie with the gigantic eye and skull is landing on one of the main pads near the conning tower. And are you all present?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. And Rosary, you're not actually part of this retinue quite yet, right?
I am not yet.
Yeah. You are probably in the how do we say this politely? Shitty sleeping situation.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, that you've been in. But both Patience and Kirtha you're there on the landing pad, right?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
looking
yeah.
at all inquisitorial
Yeah,
as well. I've kind of just started the facade. Actually, what if Cyphus is with me to talk to the Inquisitor?
Sure. Yeah. No, your brother Caiaphas is standing there very awkwardly. He is a rogue trader, he's not beholden to that sort of thing, but he's here just because, his sister asked very kindly. And so he's standing behind you very awkwardly. Yeah, this Valkyrie just sort of touches down. The back ramp opens, and Selena Vanthra steps out. What do you both do?
I get on my knees and bow to her.
Patience?
Patience will just observe.
Very well. The Inquisitor steps out, looks around very imperiously, sort of cocks her fingers a little bit to imply that Kirtha should stand up. All right, I've heard that there is.
She says she implies I should get up. Selena does?
Yes.
Okay, I get
Yes.
up. Then.
I've heard on the Vox. You all have called me. What do you have to tell me?
We talk. Sorry.
You go first.
I let Patience speak. We spoke with both Cyphus Vangara and Indraxity Horbas. Andraxa did hear us out, but her demands were unreasonable. She wants about 2 million random members of the population she could select at will to turn into servitors, which is a reasonable enough demand. She also wants 1/10 of the planet's agricultural production. Cyphus Vangaro, my brother, was much more open to negotiation, and is accompanying us here to discuss with you.
Caiaphas sort of bows very awkwardly. Go on.
Okay. Cyphus is much more open to negotiation and has accompanied me here to discuss with you.
Patience, what have you learned?
We have learned of a bit. I'm aware Ivan voxed you some of the information, something in particular that made him uncomfortable that I am not aware of. That is fine. There's plenty more information I can reveal.
Well, out with it.
While we were at the camps, we had encountered more of an organized heretical presence than we expected. We, of course, knew that there would be non-believers and fools amongst the distant masses, but there was command. There's a person in particular that we recorded. I guess if Ivan is here in the background, he could probably share the data, recording of the guy.
Yeah, I'm thinking he probably just sent it over whatever Vox internet there is.
Yeah. As you can tell, he is rather suspicious, particularly with those opened sores.
Interesting.
In addition, we heard from the commissar a mention of a suspicious figure, the old man who came at night to tend to the sick and wounded, took escapees to the forest, and mentioned something about salvation coming from the sky and that truth will be found from the depths of winter. Sounds very heretical to me.
Selena looks extremely perturbed by this information and just frowns. I require. I have been. And she's like looking like she's searching for her words. The Lord Inquisitor has ordered me to attain the assistance of certain night houses. I'll leave it in your hands if you wish to search for this old man in the internment camps. Or perhaps you could do some work on one of the night houses. House of Carstire, it is the nearest.
Perhaps we could, but I know little of the functions of these night houses.
I've heard that a sister of battle present on the planet is made his way into the charms of the local knight. So
I
basically,
believe
you
that
have.
may have been the sister we encountered earlier, the one who Rosary, the one who was requested at the ball, at the dinner. I mean,
Oh dear, they really get everywhere, don't they? Suppose they are our chamber militant. And she sort of stalks off, walking towards the Great Hall as if she's going to talk to the knight. So basically, she's leaving the whole retinue with their options open. The retinue has the option, obviously, of searching the camp, but they also have the option of going to the Pimpled Prince's little estate.
You gonna do any of the negotiation with Selena and Cyphus
Sure.
first, or just because he's already there?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Cyphus
wait, can I
is-
mention one last thing to the Inquisitor before she stomps
Oh
off?
yeah, she sort of walks off. You can just say something.
I will mention one last thing. I'm
Indeed.
aware that part of the issue with compromising the night houses is that hold on, I need to make sure I got my notes right. Is that the Lady Governor is, and as well as the rest of the nobility, have issues with the masses, the mass influx of population. As we have seen, there is potential amongst many of these people to be recruited into the guard, but as we have also seen, there is plenty of heresy around them. I simply I believe there may be a solution through this. We can perhaps reach some sort of compromise, if worse comes to worse, by taking those who resist their call of duty into the guard can instead serve the emperor in other ways, perhaps servitorization, as other interested parties have seen fit. So long as they serve the emperor and the masses are no longer starving this world. But I, of course, am not an adept of the administratum. I would not know the specifics of these functions.
The Inquisitor will glance to both 01 and Nidara.
Are we there?
I'm assuming you are. It's up to you.
There was a bit of a time gap in between.
If there was a time gap,
when
then
the
yeah, we're
Inquisitor.
probably there.
Yeah, she'll glance to both of you, looking like almost like she wants your opinion, as both a Xenos and a tech priest.
There are benefits to both sides. I have it on good authority that the traitor you had executed at the feast was not the actual hand behind it. They were simply a knife. But at the same time, I am also decidedly intrigued by the Archmagos here, and I would like to have a word with some of the local night houses. So there are benefits to both sides.
Interesting. Tech Priest, your opinion?
Out of character, I was picking up some laundry. What did I miss?
Basically, the Inquisitor is asking all of your opinions on specifically the options between negotiating with potentially the local night house, or more specifically, one of the subsidiary night houses to the planetary governor, and or the option of basically doing a huge sweep of the internment camp, or servitorizing pretty much everybody.
Investigations into the internment camp could prove helpful for my own duties.
I see.
And alliances with night houses can prove finicky due to the goals they have not necessarily being of self-interest.
I see. Very well. Attempt to courthouse of Carstire, then. We need them for the war front as it is. I will go to speak with Lady Moriana myself. And she walks off towards the keep.
No negotiation?
What's up?
No negotiation?
You guys have the opportunity to do whatever the fuck you
No,
want.
I meant because remember Zythus came with me to the landing pad.
He was just sort of standing there very awkwardly and like kind of terrified because that's a fucking Inquisitor.
Yeah, Inquisitor, before she leaves.
Yes, what is it, Interrogator?
As I said, I have managed to convince my brother to be more amenable to negotiating with us. He has accompanied me and would like to speak to you about it.
Of course. She like pauses. It looks like she's like mildly irritated by the pause in her like dramatic walk. But no, she does step up to Caiaphas. What would Caiaphas say to her, Jane?
I don't know. I made his character, but like you're.
Fair enough.
Well,
I just don't want to have a session, a bit where I talk to myself. So,
okay, I guess I can play him for a second.
If you want to play him for a bit.
Okay. Lady Inquisitor?
Yes? What is it, rogue trader?
I am open to renegotiating the trade cartel if it serves the Emperor's purposes. But I would need several assurances that my interests will still be respected.
Yes, your agri cartel and all that.
Quite frankly, I could care less about Andraxa. Her being undermined is half of why I have consented to negotiating in the first place.
She keeps.
But if I completely undermine my other trade partners, that would reflect badly on business in the future.
I see. And so you wish to strike a separate deal with the Inquisition?
That would be correct. And with Lady Governor, I assume. But whatever suits.
You cut out.
Something more salvaging on this world, do you not? I fail to see it, but I'm sure you know better than I.
Fascinating proposal, rogue trader. I will take this into consideration, but you may labor under the understanding that the Inquisition does support what you say. And she sort of smiles knowingly.
I just realized I disconnected for a second. Repeat that.
Yeah, you did. She basically agreed, but she did give the significant implication that she's going to want a little bit more out of this whole agreement.
Right. What are your initial terms? It's better to have that out there to begin with so I can negotiate you down. Or if that is not possible, just know how badly I'm getting fucked.
My terms are this. You will accede whatever I request. You will allow my retinue travel aboard your ship, and you will be a staunch and most loyal servant of the Imperium. How does that sound, rogue trader?
Accommodating guests is hardly an issue for me. I always strive to serve the Emperor as best I can, regardless. And the first one, not ideal, but I can handle it. So,
And the civilians, you will bring them aboard your vessels and transport them to the nearest Imperial Guard Ordnance World to be trained. Yes?
this could be arranged, although it would take time for some of my ships to reach here, and I would still need to gain something out of the matter, or else I would not be able to sell it. The rogue trader's supremacy is unquestioned within his domain, of course, but that does not change the fact that there are many merchant and noble families within the Southern Reach, which would be discontent if we used our resources for something that we did not gain anything out of. I understand the necessity of doing it for the service of the Emperor, but perhaps if I could take a few million as colonists for our worlds, that would aid them in swallowing that pill.
Oh, very well. Take, I suppose, 10 to 20 million.
That sounds fine to me. I assume there will be some sort of resources provided to help do this, but that can be negotiated by our servants.
Yes, quite. Now I must speak with the Lady Governor.
Of course.
Yeah. So that conversation having concluded, that genocidal conversation having concluded,
just out of curiosity, how many people would be being transported aboard these ships if like 10 to 20 million is a portion of it?
he would. So Caiaphas probably has. So he has mass conveyors in his dynasty. So I'm assuming it would be around 30 million people.
Well, 30
so
million would be going to the Imperial Guard worlds, 20 million to his domain, presumably the
okay,
Cyclops
so that's a really good deal.
I know exactly. He wins out of it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what he basically said. I'll do what you want, but I still want to make a profit out of it.
Yeah, and that's the whole.
Yeah, so it's like 30 million get sent to like guard planets to train, 20 million get brought to Cyphus Van Hero's world to settle it.
Yeah. Rosary, real quick.
I'm here.
Yeah, so you are woken up by a boot in your side poking you. You awake, lady?
Yes, I'm awake. Yes, I'll vacate the premises. Yes, I'll take everything that I own and won't disturb the guards again.
I sure
Anything
about
else?
that. What the fuck are you talking about? The Lord Knight wants to see you.
You're not kicking me off. Okay.
Yeah, bloody Roderick, my master. The man standing above you